Welcome everybody to another in my series of interviews, Inspiring Connections. And today I have an amazing two ladies, Barbara and Caroline from MSpace in Malahide. These two girls are rocking it out there, and I'm so excited to talk to them and find out how they found the last year and since they launched MSpace in August of 2019, right before the pandemic hit. So let's get the girls on the call. Hi girls, how are you?
Morning, how are you?
Morning, Caroline, how are you?
Good.
It's so good to have you both on. I've been really looking forward to this talk because you're just incredible. I've been watching what you've been doing on all your platforms over the last year. So you're definitely inspiring people during this pandemic for sure. So we'll kick it off with Barbara, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Barbara, can you tell us a little bit about MSpace and how the business came about from the point of view? How did you see that there was a gap in the market?
Yeah, it was very simple actually. Caroline and I work in the family business, a family property business, and we have property that people would just rent. And more and more we were seeing maybe startup companies or one-man bands, and they'd be well able to manage the rent. But I'd say to them, you've got to look at all the costs. Are you able to handle all the rates, the insurances, the light, the heat, everything else that goes with running a business? And they say, yeah. And then we'd quite often see before the end of year one that their business wouldn't have survived, that the costs they couldn't carry those costs.
Yeah.
So I said to Caroline, we had a space that was either too big for companies or too small for companies. So, and it was a magnificent space right in the center of Malahide village on the third floor, looking straight out on the sea, on the marina. So like an amazing, enviable situation. And I said, Caroline, why don't we take on this as a tenant and, offer a co-working space where basically people would have a one-stop shop. They pay us, one price per month, and everything's included. So it's like a plug and play. That's how it all
started. It's amazing. I have to say, I mean, the view, the feeling, even because you can get it from your website. If you look at the videos, and you have a complete walkthrough that Dave McCauley did for you as well, and it's just an incredible space. I haven't even been there, but I get it through.
We're gonna get you out of that balcony. But it's so true. During this pandemic, I'm here at home with the three kids, and actually my husband is actually using MSpace because we're closed at the moment, so he's using it. Lucky him.
Yeah.
If you go down there, the minute you even walk in the door, you actually feel so happy because it's amazing what brightness and light and windows, and obviously with the view, but it's a very open, very, you feel like you can breathe, and I think people are going to need that a lot when we actually
a lot.
Yeah, because we're all feeling like this here.
I know. I'm definitely be booking in for a day or 2 weeks for
we'd
sure.
love to have you.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it, I have to say. So Caroline, tell us a little bit about the journey since, because as I said in my intro, you basically started up in August 2019, right before the S show hit in, and it's like, what did you do? Because I met you in the Dublin Chamber, and it was brilliant, and you were ready and rocking to go. So so it was really interesting to see what you did after that and how you got the business through the pandemic.
So basically, we met a mutual friend, Vanessa Garrity, in December 2019. So we started opening slowly in August and started building up the business. But in the previous work that we didn't do any networking. So we managed the business ourselves and got rentals, as Barbara said. So we met Vanessa in December 2019, and she came in and used the space for the day. And then she was like listing off loads of people to see, and it was you, and it was John, and it was Alan Hennessy and Stephen and all those. And that's how that happened. So then in January, we said, right, let's go for it. Let's do the networking. Never done it before. I met you at the Dunbar Chamber, and the rest is history. And all you guys totally included us in everything. And that's how it all started. So we had never done it before. And I'm much shyer than Barbara. And
Caroline.
well, I prefer this virtual stuff than having to walk into a room full of strangers, I have to say.
And you're not alone, Caroline. There's a lot of people that feel that, you know. So don't be too worried about it. And actually, after the pandemic, when we get back out there, I think people are going to suffer from that social anxiety when you get back out. I'm even starting to think, you know, when you go, I'm starting to do a couple of meetings, and it's a bit like, oh, uncomfortable. How does this work? You know? So yeah, it's going to be a difficult time when we get back out there. But sorry, I interrupted you. Keep going.
So basically, then we started doing all the networking, and that has been fantastic. I mean, it's been a breath of fresh air, and some people have helped us along the way and stuff. And then obviously the pandemic kicked in. Yeah. So we kept going for a week or two, and then basically we lost everybody within like a week. So we were like, oh my God, what we're going to do? It only started out. And so then we started looking at all the different supports. And, you know, to be fair to the government, they've been absolutely fantastic. Fingal County Council have been fantastic. So then we started getting as many grants as we possibly could. And we did the Trading Online voucher. And I mean, that's no easy feat. I mean, that really, I say people give up on that because it's actually very hard to do it and get it over the line. But we did get over the line, and we got our website out of that through another colleague that we met in the Bengal Chamber, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he did our website. So we worked on that for the few months that we were closed and trying to do the online networking with you guys. And that's basically what we've done. We've just kept it up since then. And then we've opened and we've closed, we've opened and we've closed.
Yeah.
So the yo-yo.
I know it is. And actually, talking about when you did reopen, Barbara, you did some amazing collaborations. Like there was no stopping you. So can you talk us through what you did with it? With a couple of the guys, specifically Moira Dunn, I remember hers, and then also Annette Cashel, the movement lady. I mean, they were brilliant collaborations where, you know, it's not just about the co-working space for you and Caroline. It's about helping the clients that are there and using your space to advertise and help them as well, which was incredible.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, when Caroline and I set up this business, I mean, we had obviously no experience of co-working. You can see the big boys like Iconic and WeWork, and, you know, they are very community based. And we certainly wanted to create MSpace as a community, as a network for its members. Now that, you know, obviously when the pandemic hit, we didn't get to run any events, but we will when this all stops. We can't run our own events. Can't wait.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, through all the networking, everyone says, don't sell. You can't just keep selling a desk. It's a desk. You can't sell a desk. Okay. But what we are trying to create is something special, something that adds value. So when we were, I suppose, removed from the business, we said, okay, who can we actually work with, to collaborate with, to add value to our existing members, but also anybody that's working from home, and then they may, you know, want to work with us in the future. So we kind of took a little step back and say, what are people struggling with? And you know, Maura Dunn came on board with us, and Maura is a productivity expert. And we did a series of interviews with Moira, socially distanced on the balcony and a mile away from her in the room. We recorded those, and you know, we got, like, we did it over 8 weeks, and we had a different tip every week of what people can do to help be more productive, to help stay motivated. You know, because I think everyone was just feeling so unbelievably overwhelmed throughout this.
Completely.
So that was great. And then we also teamed up with Annette Cashel, who we brought into the Virtual Business Owners Network as well.
Yeah.
And she's a movement expert. So again, you know, people are suffering from bad backs and necks, and my own arm is very sore at the moment, you know, whatever way we're holding our phones and our iPads, you know, because we're not sitting at proper desks. So she was giving us tips in terms of, how you stand, how you sit. I was actually even yesterday in my own head going, where's my elbows? I shouldn't be like this. I should be like this. And I can even feel it like that the minute I do it. We're putting strain on these muscles.
Absolutely.
So it's all of this type of added value that helps people to even just stop for a second and say, okay, if I just change one little thing, maybe that will make it a bit better. And that was kind of the body. The productivity was the work part. And then Caroline and I roped in then our sister. Alison, who's a psychologist, and she's an organizational psychologist. She's doing lots of corporate work at the moment with companies. And we asked her to be able to help and share well-being and, mind, what's going on in here. And I think, we've three women on the call here this morning. I think we have taken a lot of the load, in terms of, the three of us have primary school children. So, the secondary kids are working away on their Zoom calls. It's a little bit easier. The younger ones, it is very taxing, and it's very hard for us all juggling, homeschooling and being a mom and trying to do our jobs and do it all. We're trying to do it all. So Alison kind of helped with that as well. So that was kind of on the collaborative team, let's say. But then, we're actually looking at doing something with Alison now as well, running an event with her. So she's a client of MSpace. So it's going into different levels. And on another completely different side, Lisa Nicole Dunn, who's a mantra strategy, she takes MSpace is her virtual office, and she comes into us a couple of times a week, non-pandemic times.
Yeah, sure.
It came the other way to me a couple of weeks ago to actually team up with her for a big fundraising campaign for International Women's Day. So it's lovely to see that, we're kind of creating this little MSpace family, and that's what we always wanted to do. So Caroline and I are very hands-on. It's not a corporate. It's not, pay. We will do whatever we can to support our clients, doing spotlights on them or help kind of push their word out. And we have done that for anybody that has joined us. So we intend on doing a lot more of it. And in real life.
In real life. I know. That's why I'm so excited to get out to you, because from all those videos and connections that you've made, like, there's a really great vibe about the space. And as you say, that collaboration, you're so helpful. You do it so naturally, both of you. It's just it's so lovely to see. And that's why, like, in my Inspiring Connections piece, that's why I had to get you guys on, because you definitely inspire me from that point of view, for sure.
Well, you inspire us. You were the starting point.
Oh, thank you. So Caroline, do you want to tell us a little bit about the packages that you offer people? So from the hot desks to what kind of spaces would be available to me if I wanted to come to MSpace?
Yeah, so I'm sorry I've been jumping around a little bit there, but we just got a brand new laptop yesterday, and a big sign came up saying that your battery's going low. So I'm like in a panic here. In case I have to jump for a second, just please excuse me. So, I'm like sweating here. So I'm very sorry. I thought I was totally fine, but anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. But so we have a mixture of, we don't want to call them hot desks anymore. I want to call them daily desks, because the whole thinking of hot desks is kind of freaking people out, because they're just germaphobe, like germs everywhere. So we call them daily desks. So we're actually not open for daily desks at the moment. We've got 1 or 2 dedicated members that are in there, and that is it. So generally we have a block, like at the moment we're restricted on social distancing. So say we've got a block of 8 seats in the middle, or 8 desks in the middle, that had to become 4. So to allow for a gap between everyone. Now we've plenty of space around us, and there's no shortage of air, and there's no shortage of light and all that kind of stuff. But we've actually lost 7 client spaces, if you know what I mean, which is huge, because we only have a certain amount. And then we have a private office that's rented out to a 3D printing company, and then we've got a couple of people that are there dedicated. So obviously when we open up again, people can come in and use the daily desk. So they come in for the day basically, and they've access to basically work away and, you know, plug into the internet and all that kind of stuff. And then when we were open the last time, we were renting. We've got a communal renting room or meeting room where the members are allowed to use it, and they just put their name on the list of how many hours they need it for. But when we were very slow during the summer, we were actually renting out that meeting room. So people were actually looking to come and have like a 2-hour meeting or something out of their house.
Yeah.
So what we find really now is the people that we have in there, most of them work for themselves. 1 or 2 of them are in a company, but we're finding it hard to get companies to come on board with this, because companies are still in discussions of what they're going to do with their own office space. So if they decide they're going to cut down some of their office space, that's fine. And they're going to allow people to work from home, but they're not going to pay for them to go to a hub.
Okay.
So we are trying to get individuals. So the people that are in there at the moment are individuals. Like I've got a guy that comes in, he works for a hotel company in Portleash or somewhere, I think it is. And he comes down maybe once a week or stuff just to come in and do his paperwork. So nobody comes near him.
Yeah.
There's people like that. So it's the dads that are working from home, and
sure,
you know, and the moms
would go to the likes of like hotels and sit in the foyer, but what you're offering is so much better because it's much more structured, and you know, it's quiet space. I mean, I myself have regular meetings in hotels, in the foyer, or in a coffee shop, and it's just, it's not necessarily professional enough or quiet enough. All those things that you want to kind of, when you present yourself or when you're meeting a new client. So to actually be able to say that you're going to MSpace where you are, I mean, I guarantee you they will be blown away when they go and see it, and the layout and everything, and that private space that you've taken the time to book in to the meeting room, instead of, like, say, just saying, oh, I'll meet you in, I don't know, the Crown Plaza or something, or whatever it is. So it's so much more professional. So it takes you to the next level. So 100%.
So I suppose through the pandemic, and it has evolved over the year. I mean, we never thought we'd be in this position again now. But we did have to change our whole mindset to the whole thing. So we basically, you know, at the beginning, we're like, oh, we can't let anybody else come in here because the members need the meeting room. So the members are sitting at their desks on their headphones, taking the calls.
Yeah.
So once everybody got used to doing that, then we thought, okay, we've got a meeting room there that's not been utilized. So we need to, and if it infringes on the members, okay, we'll pull back a little bit. But if it's not at the moment, look, just go for it. And we're getting requests for people that are doing online training to come in. And we've had a lady that's come in a few times, and she comes in and she basically works there for the entire day. And she said, I'm perfectly capable to do it at home on my own, but just the space to be in somewhere not in your kitchen would be better, and it looks more professional for her. And so hopefully we'll have her back now in March, because every time she's due to come back, we go back into level 5.
So
you're going back over.
She did feel that you know, doing it from her kitchen was okay, you know, in the initial lockdown, but she just felt it's not okay anymore. She said, I need to be presenting a professional image, and she just booked in those slots because she's doing, you know, a fairly large coaching or training session, and she just wanted to look the part.
100% agree. The green screens, I keep saying I need to get a green screen so, you know, I can change my background, because like this is the only place in my house that I know I get it. And when I'm sitting here, the kids don't necessarily come near me. It's the one thing. But I'm also conscious that every single one of my videos looks like this. And you're kind of going, you know, but look,
mine are under strict instruction this morning. I'm like, do not come near this room and do not fight in the background, please.
Yeah, you don't want to hear the voice. I mean, I'm sitting in my front room, and I've actually locked the door. You know, and when we first started here, I could hear them arguing. I was like, oh God.
Well, listen,
Anyway,
I don't know
that's
whether
life.
either of you noticed, but my 4-year-old was in here a minute ago and she's beside me and I'm literally pushing her.
No, I didn't see her.
No, I didn't see her at all.
Yeah, literally. It was the second question in and she's going, Mom, Mom, Mom. Now you'll see I had to mute myself because she's going, Mom, Mom, Mom. And I'm going, oh my God, I'm going to
Is she the one that did the vision board?
Yes, that's Isabel. She did my, yeah, it's incredible. That
cute.
for me is well, I'll keep I'm going to get it framed properly.
I'd frame it. I would, definitely. Vision boards are fabulous though. You know, they really are.
Yeah. I get on my cross trainer every day, girls, and I look at that vision board. I literally, it's beside me, the vision board's in front of me, and I'm on my cross trainer thinking about my vision, and I change it all the time.
Constantly.
So
yeah.
Constantly evolving, you know. So it is. It's a great tool to be able to do that.
And we need that.
I have one, but I need to update it. I have one in my bedroom. I have it on my wardrobe, and I do stare at it all the time. But I actually do need to, you know, update it a bit now. You're supposed to have it somewhere where you see all the time.
Yeah, it's on my mantelpiece. I have 2 fireplaces, so in our front room. But it was definitely something incredible to do with the kids. Because I have boys as well, and you wouldn't think that they would get involved, but they actually did. They, like, my 11-year-old has, like, he wants like a bigger, has this big telly, so he Googled the telly, printed it out, cut it out, and he has it all on his little vision board, but it's up on his wall in his bedroom. And then my 15-year-old, who you definitely wouldn't think, but he has a jet ski.
Aim high.
Vision board for
I guarantee he'll get it. He will get it, because I remember thinking a few years ago, you know, we were like, oh, you know, I wanted to change my car, and we put up pictures of a car, and then, you know, it does. It's like you put out a message to the universe. You don't get everything, but, you know, it definitely changes.
The love
they're very good.
Very powerful. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So, Barbara, just to get back to what Caroline was saying in relation to the future of co-working spaces, what do you think? What's going to happen in the next couple of months when we start to reopen?
It's funny. Only yesterday I saw an article that Boston Consulting Group carried out in the UK, and they found that 67% of the people that they interviewed said that they wanted a hybrid. They wanted a mix of home and office. So that's so high. I mean, I knew it was high, but I thought that was, wow, that's like 3/4. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's been amazing watching, you know, all the big companies, you know, saying that people can work from home permanently if they want. Even was it Spotify last week said that they were going to keep the pay the same, because a lot of companies have been saying, well, you know, your expenses are going to be less, and maybe if you work from home, there might be a little adjustment. So, but I think, you know, if companies really embrace what the employees are looking for, that's the key here, right? The productivity is going to shoot through the roof, because they're going to be they're going to be so much happier working for the companies. So, you know, good karma brings good karma. It always comes around.
It does,
and you know, whereas, and particularly for working moms, I saw was it Indeed earlier in the week that they're going to employ 150 moms. Did you see that?
Oh wow!
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You know, they're an amazing company, and they're always doing all of these, you know, new campaigns. But that's what they're for very high level executive jobs, not just high level. And they were saying that the experience that these women can bring to the younger women, you know, they've kind of gone through it and they've had their kids, and bring them back part-time. You know, we don't all have to be there 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Work with what they can do, you know. So I think the pandemic has changed all of this for you know, hugely from a you know, beneficial point of view. So I think people do need interaction. They do need contact. So whether that means a little bit at home, a little bit going back into the office, when I go back into the office, go to a local hub near you. But I mean, we could see, Caroline, couldn't we, over the other two, you know, when we reopened, people were dying to come back out. They were dying to even come in for 1 or 2 days. They used to call it their MSpace days.
Yeah.
We have one client who booked in every Wednesday for 6 or 8 weeks, and she called that her think tank day with her team, and the 3 of them came in that day. And I loved seeing stuff like that. And she was really caring about her staff, that she wanted to bring the 3 of them together. They had their lunch. You know, there was nothing really open. They were out for a walk or whatever, but they were still getting together. They were still having that human interaction, which we are all really missing. So even if it is only 1 day or 2 days, I think it'll make a huge difference. And I think people we're hoping that the phones won't stop ringing.
They will.
And to give people a little bit of a sanity, a little bit of a break from home. And of course, if people can't work at home at all, we have dedicated desks. So they can take that desk and it's theirs, and they can come in whenever they like. So, you know, one size doesn't fit all. And I think that's what we've really learned during this. As Caroline said, we have had to change and evolve, and we're flexible working, but we've had to become ultra flexible, because we ask them, we're saying this is what we have. The very first question we ask every single inquiry when they come to us is, what are you looking for? What are you hoping to do? How are you working at the moment? And then we try and kind of tailor something to suit what they're looking for, rather than saying, well, you can only have this, 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 and this. We're small, we're independent, we can do that. We have the flexibility to do that.
And that's what's lovely about smaller businesses, that we do think more about the actual customer and give that personal touch. And I always say that, you know, people won't remember average customer service. Have you ever talked about some average customer service that you got? They won't. But if you provide top customer service, they will scream about you from the rooftops. You know, so average isn't good enough anymore. You got to think like you guys, outside the box, provide something different, adapt to their needs, and it's extremely important to do that. And another thing that you've done, Caroline, to adapt to people's needs is you're providing now a business address for people. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so basically it's a virtual business address. So we have a couple of clients that are working from home, and they've set up companies that they're working from home, but they don't want their business documentation to come to their home. Now, you can come to the home. There was people talking about before that you couldn't, but you can. But some people just don't want it to come to their home address. So they pay a yearly fee of it, and they can use our address as their correspondence address. So any of their, you know, paperwork and stuff that comes, and then when it comes in, I just send them a text or send them an email and say, right, you know, this post coming in, when do you want to meet up? We also offer another service where we could open the post, scan it, and then shred it. But actually, the couple people that we do have actually do like to come and get the stuff, because a lot of them are quite local. So so I go down and I meet them and I hand over the post, and that's generally what we do.
It's a
very easy thing, you know. So and we just have to make sure that we know who they are. They have to give us documentation about the business, just so, you know, not using our address as a, you know, drug cartel or something, you know. We're trying to push that.
You're thinking outside the box, you know, like it really is brilliant. When I saw that go up on LinkedIn, I was like, God, there's the girls now with another great idea, you know. So it's really. Now
there are some places that do like virtual assistants and virtual receptionists and all that type of stuff, but we don't do that. We only just stick with the business address, because you know, we don't have a reception or anything there, so, you know, we're kind of in and out an awful lot. So and, you know, nobody really uses a lot of those services, I don't think, anymore, because everyone's accessible on their mobile and whatever. So
you never know.
But the address thing is definitely something that we're trying to push and develop now over the year. And then if they want to come in and have a meeting or take a desk, they get a discount on that then. And, you know, hopefully when it opens up again, then they could then say, okay, we're coming to meet, and we're meeting, you know, where our registered address is or whatever. So
like for the likes of you know, we mentioned people coming in, taking the meeting room. I mean, if they had MSpace as their professional address, and then they want to meet a client, or they want to do a coaching session or whatever, you know, it's very nice to say, I'll meet you at my office. They don't know that they're not there all the time, and that But that client is like, wow, this is where he is. That's that's impressive. You walk in, you're looking out in that view, you immediately put that person on a different level rather than, you know, saying let's meet in Starbucks. You know, it has a very different feel.
Absolutely.
So I think the two together, you know, has a lot of charm for a lot of people to make themselves look bigger than maybe they are, because
exactly,
it's very important, professional perception. So
it sure is. So ladies, thanks so much for joining me. Do you want to tell everybody how they can connect with you, and maybe your website and email address and that, if that's okay?
Yeah, so our web address is www.mspace.ie. It's very, very simple. You can get in contact with both of us on our email, which is hello@mspace.ie. I nearly sang that.
Is it me you're looking for?
I know, I nearly did. And Carol Ann is on LinkedIn as Carol Ann Hickey, and I'm on LinkedIn as Barbara Nolan. So we're also on Twitter, MSpace Malahide on Twitter as well. So if anybody is interested in getting any information, and if we can help them, and maybe if we haven't discussed something that that they maybe are interested in, what I would say is, you know, come to us. And if we can do it, we will. That's
what's the future for you guys? Do you have a plan? Are you gonna, I always say, you know, what is are you looking to set up another space down the road in year 5 or something, or are you just taking it one day at a time?
Wendy, the first week we opened, right? The first 2 days was it, Caroline? So we designed the whole color scheme. You know, it was all the green and orange and bright and vibrant, and the reaction we got within the first 2 days, the whole place. I think one guy came in, he wanted to take 8 desks. I mean, it was just so phenomenal.
Wow.
And I was already in another building. There
was purples and yellows.
There was a purple team coming next. I was going, oh my God. And she goes, relax. Let's just see how it all goes. And honest to God, a week later, that guy from the 8 didn't do it. And, you know, it has been a very slow. So, you know, it was a good lesson, actually, that you really have to walk before you run, and steady Eddie. I think we learned that, didn't we, Karen? Because I'm, you know.
I love that.
Well, I knew that anyway, Barbara. I had to teach that.
Check out the difference in the 2 corners, you know, the steady Eddie and the...
It's funny because from the 2 of you, I can see Barbara's like, she's gone, like, and Carol Ann is like pulling her back.
But it works. It works.
It
works because we are very much both ends of the scale. So we do level. We kind of level out in the middle. You know, I pull her up and
totally. Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, girls, thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you're very welcome. If anybody wants to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn, Wendy Stunt, and that's my platform of choice if you'd like to connect and chat. Otherwise, from Barbara and Carol Ann and I, see you next time. Thanks, girls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.